Hi, this is Christy. I put together this slideshow for a lunch and learn at Hallmark where I lead meditation once a week and provide Reiki in the medical department. As you know, Hallmark is an international company prone to layoffs, big layoffs, and it's just a stress farm. I used to work there, and I know that the end of the year was a really very stressful time of the year for most people there. So I thought I would put this slideshow together for my students of meditation and my Reiki clients as a community service to help them through this insanely busy time of year. So I called this presentation De-Stressing for the Holidays, or Fiscal Year End is Awesome, said no accounting manager ever. And so this time of year, you can pick your stress. Is it A, keep calm, it's nearly Christmas? B, keep calm, it's financial year end? Or C, all of the above? Probably all of the above. So this time of year, it's the financial close of the year and extra work, also the financial close of the month, but you have them both coming at the same time, so that's a lot of extra work for certain departments. There are holiday celebrations, department-wide, team-wide, company-wide. There are employees taking time off to go shopping or go to their kids' Christmas program, winter holiday program, or having family in from out of town, so employees are coming and going. This time of year, the budget has usually been completed, so there's not a lot of extra money to be had at this time of the year. All of that combines to be a recipe for stress. And most of this information comes from that tiny little link at the bottom. All right, so that's my work life. And that pretty much sums it up. What about the rest of my life, my personal life, my life? Well, first, this time of year, we've got winterizing. Winterizing the house, the car, the wardrobe, getting things out of storage. There's holiday travel, both at work and in your personal life. There are holiday guests. I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said that both guests and fish tend to smell after 3 days. I think he's right about that. Then there's the gifts. The family gifts, friends, neighbors, teachers, coworkers, mail carrier, piano teacher, Girl Scout leader, just the endless parade of gifts for different people in your life. Plus, you have to wrap them all. Then there's holiday donations, the toy drive, the sock drive, the underwear drive, the coat drive, the scarf drive, the hat drive, the mitten drive, all of these different donations that we're expected to give to at this time of year. There's holiday decorating, your home, your car, your cube at work, all kinds of decorating. Then there's cooking, baking, and overeating. Also holiday programs and recitals at school, at church, for the band program, for the choir, for scouting, for all of these different recitals and programs. And all the holiday parties. You may have holiday parties at work, and then your spouse's holiday parties, the holiday parties at school, at church, all of these different gatherings and things that have to be planned and executed. And then there are family traditions. I know families who have traditions of everybody gets together to make cookies one day, or they all go to the Nutcracker, or some traditions are everybody gets dressed up and goes see Santa Claus. There's all these different family traditions that we're kind of expected to do because it's family and it's a tradition. And then there's just plain family. Family causes a lot of stress this time of year. We'll get into that. So I wanted to talk a bit about the effects of stress on the body. As you know, chronic stress is a way of life for many people. But do you really realize what it does to you exactly? So first of all, there's depression and anxiety, especially this time of year when everybody's stressed and the daylight doesn't last as long. So that gives us seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. And this is a very real thing. Many people get very depressed at the lack of sunlight. The immune system gets impaired due to stress. And it just so happens that it's cold and flu season. Isn't that nice? Stress also makes our emotions easily triggered. Depression, anxiety, like I said, just sadness, anger, frustration, all of these things get amplified when we're under stress. We're also unable to focus as well when we've got a million things running through the mind all at the same time, a million places we've got to be, the endless to-do list. It just makes us where we're unable to focus on what we need to focus on. All this stress also shuts down the vagus nerve. I don't know if you're familiar with this neural pathway. It runs from the brain down to the gut. When we're stress-free, when everything is fine and hunky-dory, that neural pathway is open. And it allows us to continue our day and live our life. But when we're under stress, that neural pathway shuts down, enabling our bodies for fight, flight, or freeze. Well, and that was a very good thing back in the day when we had to worry about things like saber-toothed tigers and warring tribes and people chasing us down or animals chasing us down. It was a survival mechanism. It just saved all of the body's energy to run away, to fight, or just to freeze and shelter in place. We know that when the vagal nerve shuts down, we feel things like cold clamminess, we feel a brain fog, we feel perhaps a buzzing, our digestion stops or slows, our eyes dilate, our hands might feel cold and clammy. All of these things are the stress response. And in our modern life, our bodies don't know the difference between being chased by a saber-toothed tiger and, oh crap, I forgot to buy a gift for the teacher. It's the same stress in terms of what it does to the body. All of this also plays a role in weight gain. Like I said, the neural pathway is shut down and we reserve caloric intake so that we have it in case we need it. And all of this packs on pounds. So here are a few strategies to tackle holiday stress. First, get some sun. Take a walk or sit near a window on sunny days, especially if you work in a cube farm and don't see the sun very much. Do what you can to get outside during lunch or during a break, even 5-10 minutes. Or if you can move your computer next to a window and get some sun that way, that's great. That would certainly help. And related, get outside. Exercise and fresh air are natural stress busters. Again, if you can get outside even 5 or 10 minutes during lunch, during a break, maybe before you go into work or right after work, just really get outside and enjoy some fresh air. And the next, maybe not be a very popular suggestion, but do less and enjoy it more. With each of our holiday obligations, figure out who you're actually pleasing with that. And what can you do without? For example, if you bake 5 types of cookies, you've always made 5 types of cookies, and everybody expects you to make 5 types of cookies, or more importantly, you think that everyone expects you to make 5 types of cookies. Could you really get away with maybe 2 or 3 instead? And think about it. Who are all of your activities pleasing, really? Same can be said about parties, all of the excessive parties. Are there any parties that you really just don't enjoy going to, but you drag yourself to anyway? Can you do without it? If it doesn't bring you joy, why do it? So try to focus on things that bring you joy, and you'll be a lot less stressed. The next thing is try to stick with your daily routine as much as possible. I know it's a crazy time of year. We've got a lot of extra activities. But if you can stick to your schedule of waking up and going to bed, stick to your schedule of eating, your body is going to thank you for it, and you'll be less stressed because your body will not be anticipating or missing what it needs. And can I just say again, focus on the joy. If it doesn't make you and yours happy, why do it? I see too many families who focus on things that everybody hates, but they do it because it's expected, or they think the world would fall apart if they don't do it. Trust me, it will be fine. If you don't like it, the chances are good that other people in the family won't like it either. So see what you can do with that. Now this might sound a little funny, but when you ask for assistance, ask individual people. So there's nothing wrong with calling on assistance at all. But sometimes we'll send out a group email, like, who can take care of this for me? I'm going out of town. I need somebody to do this. Think about it. If you send out a group email, is the tendency to think that, well, this is going to a large number of people, surely someone will step up. But if you ask people individually, they're more likely to decide to lend you a hand. And then last, give yourself the gift of 15 to 20 minutes of quiet time each day. Schedule it if you have to. Seriously, put it in your calendar. Set yourself a reminder to have 15 to 20 minutes of quiet time. Even if that means just sitting in the car, listening to the radio, and playing Candy Crush for 15 minutes. That's your time. Nobody can take it. So those tips were taken from the link that you see at the bottom of the screen. And there's a lot more tips there where that came from, but these are some of the highlights. So next I have even more sanity savers. First, practice mindfulness. Explore and acknowledge your feelings. How many times do you find that all of a sudden you're stressed out, you're anxious, and you don't really know how you got there? See if you can stop yourself before a full-blown panic attack starts. Or see if you can stop yourself before you get upset or anxious. And this is mindfulness. So being mindful is being present and being aware. Being aware of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your body. Being cognizant of your emotions also. So explore and acknowledge those. All of your feelings are real. Next, if there have been changes in the family, such as divorce, or God forbid a death, or someone has moved out or moved away, do acknowledge that things are going to be different. Seek out new traditions. If we expect it to be just the same as before, we're going to make ourselves very, very sad. So just acknowledge that this is a new tradition that we're going to explore, and we're going to try some new things, and it's going to be different. Just having that knowledge and that awareness is very mindful. Next, do reach out. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling withdrawn, if you're feeling cut off, do seek out community and friends. Go to church. Find your study group. Go to a yoga class. Find out the company of other people and friends, and just reach out if you need it. No harm in that. We're all busy, but we'll take time for someone who's hurting. Next, be realistic. Forget perfection. I don't know who said it, but it's a great quote. Perfect is the enemy of good. I actually know people who stress over the meal. It's painful to watch them preparing it because people are bickering back and forth about how you have to baste it. No, wait 5 minutes to baste it. No, baste it now, baste it now. It's ridiculous. So if you're expecting perfect, then if you get good, you're very disappointed. But if you expect good, you'll be very pleased. So just try to let go of those unrealistic expectations. Next, plan ahead and group your activities together. Shopping is a great example. Why go out and get one errand done when you can go out and get 2 or 3 done at the same time? So maybe plan your time accordingly so that you can maximize your effort. So you're not duplicating drive time. So you're not duplicating standing in line. So save yourself some time and some sanity by grouping your activities. Same thing with baking. If you've got the oven on, you've got the measuring cups out, go ahead and bake the things that you need to get baked. Likewise, planning. You've got your calendar out once, go ahead and plan everything. Next. Curb the urge to overeat. So have a healthy and filling snack before you go to a party. Fill up on a real dinner rather than heavy hors d'oeuvres at the party. So eat a plate of vegetables before you go to a dessert get-together, a cookie swap. So make sure that you've got your tank filled with good and healthy food before you go to these parties. Also, at your desk, make sure that you've got healthy snacks at your desk, because this time of year, people bring in treats, vendors send treats, other departments send treats, freelancers send treats. The place is lousy with treats. So if you can keep some healthy things at your desk, that when you're tempted, you can just nibble on some popcorn or some carrot sticks, and instead of all the Topsy's popcorn and the fudge. And last, seek help if you need it. If you really do need it, please, please call a trusted friend, call your employee's EAP line, call a counselor, call your minister. Get help if you need it. These tips and more were coming from the link at the bottom of your screen. So there's a lot of information out there about stress relief during the holidays, and I just picked out what I thought were the best, but there's a lot more out there. All right, well, this this topic needs its own slide, its own section, dealing with difficult relatives. Some of the people that we see during the holidays, we only see once a year. And they can make things very difficult if you just don't agree. If you agree to disagree, they can be very difficult. So first of all, if your family tends to squabble over dinner, why not go eat out? Really, a family is going to tend not to squabble at bowlings or tomfooleries when they go eat out for a meal. So, but we all holds off when we're at home and squabbling over the dinner table. So next is learn to say no. Set your boundaries like a boss. Sometimes the kindest thing you can say is no. I'm sorry, I'm not going to help you with that this year. I just don't have time. So set your boundaries and stick to them. If you've got difficult relatives in your life, just for one day, tell yourself that you are going to be big enough to set aside your differences. Just for a day. Just for half a day. Just set it aside. It doesn't matter what happened 5 years ago. Just be the bigger person and rise above it. Next, take a breather. You're not obligated to participate if things get tense. You can remove yourself. You can sit in another position at the table or move to another seat. You do have an obligation to be kind, but you do not have an obligation to stay in a difficult or tense situation. So just kindly remove yourself if things get really tense. Next, don't be afraid to change the subject, or don't be afraid to leave it. Simply leave a subject if it gets to be too tense or too intense. And don't be afraid to change the subject for that matter either. Next, limit alcohol. Many families, many people think that if you drink alcohol, you'll just kind of let all of that stuff go, when actually the opposite is true. When people have had the second, the third glass of wine, they may be a little bit more loose-lipped and willing to say something that will be inflammatory. So do keep your head about you and limit the alcohol. If you really need help, there is a wonderful hotline by Showing Up for Racial Justice, SURGE. It's a group that deals with racism and confronting racism and standing up for social justice and racial justice. And they've got a wonderful hotline. You just text SOS to 82623. And they'll give you a few options. Is your racist uncle saying this, that, or the other? So you make your selection, and then it tells you how to combat that. So it's wonderful. And it is racially geared. So it's more for dealing with the racist uncles and factions of the family. I tried to find other hotlines, but really this was the only one out there, but it is very good. There is also this wonderful article at the Chicago Tribune. So this Thanksgiving, avoid political arguments. It's a wonderful article. It was written around Thanksgiving, but it's applicable for the rest of the holidays as well, anytime you get together with difficult relatives who don't see eye to eye on things. So it just gives some very practical and good tips. So here are some tools for these times and beyond. All year round we have stress, but these are tips that you can implement now. First, practice deep breathing to quiet the stress response. Do you remember when I talked about the vagus nerve? The neural pathway that shuts down between the brain and the gut when we're in a stress response? Well, guess what keeps it open? Deep breathing. Yes, taking a slow, deep, and controlled breath. Will get that pathway back open and help you feel more centered and calm. So next, learn to meditate or just enjoy a quiet 15 minutes without distraction. Join a meditation group. This says join the meditation group. Of course, this was geared toward Hallmark, but anywhere that you can find a meditation group, join in. Many churches have meditation groups. You can certainly find them on meetup.com. Wherever you are, you can find a meditation group. Group meditation is something that helps you benefit faster from meditation. We have a group intention. We have a group energy that's put into it. There's accountability. If you're in a group and meditating, you're not likely to get up in the middle and go change over your laundry. If you're at home, there's a million things that will run through your mind that you really need to do instead. But when you're in a group, each holds the other accountable. So meditation is a reliable stress buster. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Next, Reiki can help you reset as well as balance stress and anxiety. But this is true of any form of energy healing. So don't be afraid to go seek help, as I said before, from a trusted Reiki master or even massage. That will help a lot. Anything that you can just do to rebalance your energy levels and clear everything out, clear out all the stress. So that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get some good ideas out of this presentation. And most of all, I hope you have a very happy, safe, and loving holiday. So see you soon, and I'll talk to you in the next year.